The prompt is...
To err is human, to forgive is divine. Discuss.
Okay, are you ready?
I think so.
Let's get started.
To err is human, to forgive is divine. This proverbial phrase points out that making mistakes and messing up as a human being is completely normal because it is a part of the human nature. While anyone can take wrong turns in life, it is important that we remember to show mercy and be forgiving when it comes to people who make mistakes. Forgiving is an act of love, trust, and kindness. However, to practice such an act is quite difficult as our mindsets are heavily influenced by societal and personal standards of good and bad. We tend to associate people who make certain mistakes. When we make mistakes, however, our first reaction is to defend ourselves and justify our actions. Why? That's because nobody wants to be labeled a bad person. We care so much about appearing as a righteous person that we forget making mistakes is proof that we have more room for change. And to be right, we must first learn from all the wrongs that our mistakes have taught us. I myself am someone who has made tons of mistakes because of my lack of sensibility when I talk. I usually cut off conversations and chime in at all the wrong times and saying unnecessarily insensitive things. On one occasion, I mindlessly said something that I didn't mean and I shouldn't have said while I was talking to my friends. I didn't receive the benefit of the doubt and eventually I was called out and lost many good friends afterwards. It was a really mentally challenging time for me and I was struggling to grasp the realization that I wasn't 100% good and I was just capable of causing harm as everybody else. But I was greatly healed by the forgiveness and sympathy that my family and my close friends have entrusted me with. They called me in by acknowledging my apologies while still holding me accountable for the harm that I caused when I unknowingly said those words. Their constructive criticism has enabled me to slowly forgive myself and to move on and better educate myself while controlling my language. An act of forgiveness, either from others or from yourself, can be an excellent reminder for us that our worth is not defined by the number of mistakes that we make, but by the number of efforts that we put in to refrain from making those mistakes. I resonate deeply with this proverb, and I hope that we can all forgive ourselves and the people around us for making mistakes, because that just proves how human you are and how much potential you have left to become a better person and grow beyond your wrongdoings. Yeah. That way, we as a society can progress to the next step of creating a safer and more educated space for people to really change and thrive. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. So what do you think?
Yeah, I'd love to ask some follow-up questions.
Yes.
Okay. There's a segment within the prompt, right? That is quite interesting. In Vietnamese, it can be a little bit like câu đối.
Yes.
You know, err and forgive, as well as human and divine, right? Why do you think, you know, these can be contradicting towards each other, or maybe not really?
So human and divine is two really contradicting concepts, because divine, it kind of has a more holy sense to it, and it has more connections with the superior being and God and all the people that we worship. And while human are just flawful and we are made of things that are imperfect. So I think this is the first very contradicting concept. And also mistake and forgive. It is really easy to make mistakes, and as easy as it is for us to trip and fall, it is as hard for us to realize that and to forgive ourselves or forgive others for making such wrong decisions. So I think that this is a very contradicting proverb, but it's also very meaningful, a very meaningful reminder for us to be merciful and to accept each other's flaws, and only through that action do we get to better ourselves and teach each other to be better.